Hi, everybody.
Hi everyone, I'm Kirk
And
Prime,
I'm Donnie Lowbury.
and we are welcoming you to Flesh and Spirits event that's upcoming called The Elder or slash Gatekeeper
Yes.
for our ecstatic massage training day. So these are really juicy days, and we're going to have lots of fun. So see, Donnie has we think of it as our magician cape, our shaman's cape,
Yes.
our elder cape, but our cape of stepping into our power, taking our place in community.
Yes.
And I wanted to pick Donnie's brain a little bit about, what we're going to do, the theme for that. It's just going to be a day-long thing. So we're going to do brief little mini rituals before we actually teach you to do the ecstatic massage. So, like, you'd be laying on the table and massaging over your whole body, getting you in ecstatic space, doing breath work. But the purpose this time is to hold an intention for our queer boy, our queer man, and our queer elder within us and how that's embodied. So I know, beloved, you had an interesting childhood.
Yes.
And so as a budding queer boy, tell us kind of about what got you through. You tell the story about having locks on the door.
Oh, the locks on the door. Yes. Well, we lived in lovely Palo Alto, so it wasn't back in the 60s and 70s. So there really wasn't a lot of crime there. It was different time and everything. But nevertheless, we had 7 locks on the door, a series of 7 locks, and I never paid any attention to it because we always had it. What did I know was different? And then it wasn't until a couple of decades later when I was in therapy and I mentioned that, and that caught my therapist. Said, "Oh, 7 locks? Are you really? Oh, you should tell me more." And so I'll speed up the process, and what I learned from that is that the purpose of those locks really was not so much to keep crime or stuff out. It was actually to keep us in. It was actually more as locks on ourselves.
Yeah.
So my energetic spiritual work became around taking those locks off.
And one of the ways that you did that, we all have kind of survival strategies and coping strategies as kids growing up. So you had stuffed animals.
Oh,
yes. You called them bunnies.
Bunnies. Well, they are bunnies.
They are bunnies. Yes.
Yes. So I still love my bunnies, and they're still here. And but they were my little companions, and I always like to talk about how I had my early stewardess training with the bunnies because I used to make parties for them, and we'd have tea parties and everything. I got my early training there.
So as we kind of play with this story, I have you think about your queer boy, and what are the stories of your queer boy that you might want to share in community with your brothers and with the larger world, not only just to kind of share fun stories, but to share stories of healing. So some of his coping skills. We have a great time playing with the bunnies all the time, even now as adults. But it brings us back to our little kids within inside, and we all have one. So what's your
You tell the mud pie story.
Mud pie story?
It isn't my.
Yeah,
it's not my story.
Right. So, but we did a ritual in Flesh and Spirit years back, and one of the things that we often do is we have a bowl of earth and a bowl of water, and in the process of this ritual, what I have brothers do is they go up to the earth and the water and put their hands in it. So first starting with the earth and touching this earth, what do they want to release? What do they not want to carry? So, and in all of our cases, especially our little boy, what's the sting that still needs to be healed? What's the incomplete stuff that so here's his brother, and he's going and he's putting his fingers in the mud, but I realized what I had done was I went to the wrong bowl. So I actually went to the water and did kind of the gathering in part, and went to the earth later. And so I kept taking the water and it kept getting into the earth. So it was kind of flip-flopped of how the ritual was supposed to go. This brother, he gets up and he puts his hands into the water, and he's saying what he wants to release, and then he puts his hands into, and at that time the earth had become like mud, and he started to cry. And he said, well, when I was a little boy, I used to love to make mud pies. And he got called queer, got called all kinds, sissy, all kinds of names. And so here in the company of brothers, he actually healed himself by one, telling his story in a safe place, but actually to return to, and how beautiful, he loved to make mud pies. And so he got seen and heard and known and validated all in one package, and some simple little ritual, just because somehow I got my wires crossed and how we were supposed to do the ritual. It was perfect. It was kind of like Spirit led this into this brother's actual healing, because he again got to witness and share his story about making mud pies. What's your little boy inside, especially your little queer boy? Did he get seen? Did he get heard? Did he get acknowledged? Did you feel understood? So as we do this ecstatic massage, taking us into deep, yummy pleasure and going on a journey, we want to bless that little boy, and then we want to bless the man inside too. So our passageways as queer men is oftentimes, in much of society, there are kind of these little, rites of passages, and in many traditional indigenous tribes, those kinds of initiations, like a manhood initiation, in one of the African tribes, actually the elders of the community, and they're not necessarily queer, and the community actually have an intimate exchange with the younger men to initiate them into manhood. So that's certainly not how I got initiated into manhood, at least consciously, because nobody around was celebrating. So how was your manhood? What was your manhood ritual? And what's your man inside need, even now, to be seen and heard and known and validated? So that's another yummy part. And then, of course, the last part is, taking our place in community as an elder. And so, an elder doesn't have to do anything with age. It has to do with being in mature love and bringing all the parts of ourselves together. And I tell this story all the time of a man who came to see us to do an elder workshop. And in those days, we used to do intake interviews, and in the intake interview I simply asked the man how old he was, and he simply couldn't and wouldn't tell me, because he said, if I tell you how old I am, I'll become invisible. And so that was his elder wound. And I said, well, maybe this is not the starting place for you. To come and do this work with us. There might be some preliminary work where you really begin to own who you are, because all of you is beautiful. Your age is beautiful. Who you are, your body is sacred, your journey, and you deserve always to be seen until the last breath that you take. So what's your elder need, and your queer elder? And what's it mean for you to really take your place in community as an elder? So, all of that will be the backdrop of us just having a great time and pleasuring each other in an ecstatic massage, doing breath work, and allowing some really simple rituals that we do together to ask, what's your queer boy need? What's your queer man need? What's your queer elder need? And may there be a blessing upon all parts of you so that you can shine and show up in this world. So that's what's coming up, and all the videos that you'll see on here. We used to do kind of 2-day workshops, so know that the videos are just primers and warm-ups, and they're warm-ups to you thinking about what's my manhood initiation? What's my elder initiation? So as you're on this massage table that's right here, and you get to hold this magic wand, maybe you get to wear this fun cape during our ritual, we're just inviting you into the wholeness of who you are to shine bright. All right, namaste.
Namaste.